Have you ever stood over a golf ball? You know, that crucial shot looming, and your mind either goes completely blank or, just as bad, really, it floods with like a dozen different swing thoughts.
Oh, absolutely. That inconsistency, right? The endless search for that swing, the repeatable one.
Yeah, and there's just so much advice out there. It's overwhelming. Makes you wonder why you bother sometimes on the course.
Haha.
So today, we're trying to cut through some of that noise. We're doing a deep dive into something called the golfer's zen, a swing checklist.
Okay.
And this isn't just, another list of tips. It's framed as a unique visual guide, sort of a personal swing diary, to bring some clarity when you really need it.
A swing diary, I like that. So a personal touch.
Exactly.
Mm.
Our mission here is to unpack how this resource, acts as maybe a practical shortcut to a more fluid, repeatable, and, well, effective golf swing.
Okay.
We'll look at how it blends the old school fundamentals with modern biomechanics and also these mindful performance cues.
Right, the mental side. Crucial.
Totally. The goal is helping you recall what you need those key thoughts in, like 1.5 seconds when the pressure's on.
Wow, 1.5 seconds. That's fast.
I know. I'm genuinely interested to see how this approach tries to simplify something so complex. I think we might find some real aha moments for your own game listening in.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, let's unpack it. Every great golf swing, well, it needs a solid foundation, right? And this checklist starts right there at the core with what it calls fundamental technique hints.
Makes sense. The basics first.
First up, it highlights the grip, calls it the cornerstone of every sound swing. Now, for golfers listening, we all know the grip is important, but what's the deeper angle here, you think?
Well, what's insightful, I think, is how the guide sees the grip, not just as like how you hold it initially, but as the main interface, the thing that dictates club face control through the whole swing. For experienced players, even a tiny slip up in grip pressure or position,
Yeah.
well, it can force compensations everywhere else.
Right, like a chain reaction.
Exactly. A weak grip might make you get handsy. Too strong can kind of restrict your turn. So the guide helps you fine-tune that first connection, that handshake with the club, to make sure energy transfer is efficient.
Okay.
Preventing those power leaks or those shots that just go way offline, things that even creep into pretty good swings sometimes.
That makes perfect sense. Getting that initial connection right sets the stage for everything else. So after the grip, it moves to ball position and alignment. Describes them as crucial for optimal launch and direction. Sounds basic, maybe, but what's the nuance for someone who already kind of gets this?
Yeah, it sounds basic, but the nuance is really inconsistency and precision. For a good player, ball position isn't just about hitting it straight.
Right.
It's about managing your angle of attack, dialing in spin rates for different clubs. The guide pushes you to fine-tune these so you're not just hitting it solidly, but really compressing the ball well.
Compression, yeah, key word.
And alignment, well, our eyes can trick us, can't they?
Yeah.
Even a tiny error there gets magnified way down the fairway. So the Zen part here is about making these setups almost automatic, unconscious.
So you can trust it and just swing.
Exactly. Trust your aim, focus on the swing itself.
Okay, next. The checklist brings up a flat lead wrist. Explains its role in solid contact and a controlled ball flight. This is a big one. Lots of golfers struggle here. How does the guide help us see why it's so important beyond just like a fixed position?
Yeah, the flat lead wrist, it's often misunderstood. People think it's just a static position or something you have to force. But the real value, especially for a seasoned player, is understanding how it helps maintain club face control through the entire swing arc. At the top and critically through impact.
So it prevents that flipping.
Exactly, that common flipping or early release. That just kills power and consistency. By promoting that flat lead wrist, the guide helps you deliver the club with a descending blow, a powerful one. You're truly compressing the ball, not just hitting at it, and that's huge for distance and accuracy.
Right, getting that downward strike. Then for swing playing, it gives a classic reference. Think Ben Hogan.
Yeah.
That immediately paints a picture, doesn't it? What's
Yeah.
the core message there?
Oh, the Hogan reference. It's brilliant shorthand, isn't it? It just evokes this image of efficiency, repeatability. Classic.
Yeah.
For our purposes, it's about sticking to a simple, connected swing path, one that maximizes power transfer and cuts down on variables.
So keeping it compact and on path.
Right. The guide uses Hogan to remind you to keep the club on a path that lets your body rotate freely, powerfully. Avoid those common faults like getting across the line or laid off.
Which lead to compensation.
Exactly. It's less about copying Hogan perfectly and more about getting that principle of compact, powerful rotation.
Makes sense. And finally, in this section, the guide talks about the finish. It suggests holding a full high hand finish for balance and complete energy transfer. What does a good finish really tell us about the swing that came before it?
Well, the finish is basically the report card on your swing, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I guess it is.
If you can hold a full high hand finish in balance, it means you've likely kept your posture, rotated well, released the club fully without stalling or trying to steer it.
It's the result of good sequencing.
Precisely.
Hmm.
It's the culmination of that proper sequence, that kinetic chain working correctly. If you're off balance or your hands finished low, it usually points to a problem earlier, maybe a sway, incomplete turn, relying too much on your hands.
Okay.
So the guide emphasizes it as a critical checkpoint, not just a pose at the end, but a real indicator of whether the fundamentals worked.
Yeah, it really is all connected. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's not just the club and these more static points. It's about using your body's power, right? So next up, we dive into body movement and biomechanics.
Right, how the engine works.
This is where the guide helps us understand how our body should be working with the club. It kicks off with balance. Throughout, stressing staying centered and grounded. Why is balance so foundational for everything else?
Balance, yeah, it's the unsung hero, really. Power control. Without it, all the other biomechanical bits, they struggle. The guide stresses centered and grounded because that lets your core be the real engine. It stops those early weight shifts or, excessive movements that just drain power and mess up timing.
It's the stable platform.
Exactly. Think of it as your stable platform.
Right.
Then all the dynamic stuff can launch efficiently from there, instead of you fighting to get back in balance mid-swing. Crucial for hitting it solid repeatedly, especially when you feel the pressure.
Absolutely. Okay, then the guide moves to rotation. And it uses this great phrase, turn and controlled sway, but clarifies this sway should be within your core region for efficient energy transfer. What's the difference between a bad sway and this controlled sway?
That is a really crucial distinction. A bad sway is usually that lateral shift, right? Hips or upper body drifting away from the target in the backswing. You lose your center.
Right, see that all the time.
But this controlled sway the guide talks about, it's more like an internal feeling within the core. It allows for a deep, powerful turn, but you maintain your rotational axis.
So turning around a stable point.
Exactly. It's about generating torque through a full body coil, not by sliding your weight around. Focusing on that core region, make sure your shoulders turn way more than your hips, building up that elastic energy, that slingshot effect. Vital for efficient power.
Okay, that makes sense. It also highlights hip clearance as essential, saying it enables a powerful, unrestricted downswing. And then it shifts to impact with drive down and through, emphasizing striking the ball with intent and compression.
Yeah.
These feel like two sides of the same coin, don't they?
They absolutely are, yeah. Hip clearance is about getting your lower body rotating open, clearing out of the way. Create space so your arms and the club can swing through powerfully without getting, stuck or jammed.
Right, avoiding getting trapped.
If your hips don't clear, you're forced into compensations, often leads to blocks, pulls. So driving down and through becomes the result of clearing the hips properly. It's that feeling of applying all that stored energy through the ball towards the target, not just hitting at the ball. The guide helps connect these so it feels like one fluid, powerful sequence, better impact, better follow through.
And it offers a cool visual cue for knee flex, especially in the impact zone, knee to knee. That's very descriptive.
That knee-to-knee visual, it's fantastic because it's dynamic. It's not about being stiff-legged.
Yeah.
It implies this powerful, active drive-through impact where your trail knee moves hard towards your lead knee.
I can picture that.
Yeah. It's a really clear sign of a strong lower body drive. Firing the glutes, transferring energy from the ground up, helps keep the hips rotating, ensures you hit the ball with max power and stability.
And speaking of stability, it points to left heel stability, explaining how keeping it grounded aids control. Then, for power, it reminds us about using the use of big muscles, engaging the core and glutes for power.
Core and glutes, the engine.
And lastly, a really crucial warning with the backswing check. Avoid over-rotation, never past here. Why is stopping that overswing so vital for preventing common flaws?
Okay, so keeping that left heel down, at least through the early downswing, maintains your connection to the ground. That's key for leverage, stops you losing balance or spinning the hips too early.
Right.
It lets those big muscles, core, glutes, really engage and drive the swing. Heel lifts too soon. You lose that stable base.
Got it.
And the never past here, check for over-rotation. Equally vital. Overswinging feels powerful, Maybe, but it often leads to losing control. Struggling to get the club back on plane, the sequence breaks down.
Yeah, the timing goes out the window.
Totally. This visual cue helps even experienced players resist that temptation to just swing longer for more power. It prioritizes control, consistency over just raw length that often goes wrong. It's about efficiency, not excess.
So if we tie all this biomechanics stuff together,
Yeah, the bigger picture, it's really about creating this powerful chain reaction ground up, maximizing your effort, minimizing wasted motion.
okay?
Each of these points, the core rotation, hip clearance, using big muscles, controlled backswing, it's all about building leverage and speed without sacrificing control.
Right.
It's building a strong, athletic move that the club then follows instead of trying to force it with just arms and hands. It really focuses on those fundamental athletic principles you see in lots of powerful movements.
Okay, so we've built the structure, we understand the power source, but as anyone who plays knows, even perfect mechanics can feel, well, clunky.
Yeah.
Without that elusive flow. How does this guide help find the rhythm, tempo, and timing?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Because this part of the golfer's zen acknowledges that golf isn't just hitting positions. It's a dynamic, athletic flow.
Right.
And the guide gives us some powerful mental keywords straight off. Balance, focus, tempo, breathe.
Simple words, but powerful.
They're not just feel-good words, they're like active commands to override our tendencies when we're under pressure. They're the mental guardrails, you know?
Yeah.
Keeping the physical mechanics on track, letting muscle memory work without our brains getting in the way too much.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It also introduces effort zones, swinging within the range of 50%, 75%, 100%, depending on the control needed. Not always flat out.
Right, tailoring the effort.
And it had some wonderfully counterintuitive advice for tempo control. Slower often means better mechanics. Now, that slower advice, it seems to fly in the face of what many garchers feel they need to do, right? Why is that so important?
Yeah, that raises a really important question. How does that internal feeling of rhythm translate to actually executing the swing, especially when you're nervous or under pressure? The slower advice is, well, it's profound, really. When we feel pressure, our instinct is speed up, get tense, rush the sequence.
Guilty as charged.
We all are. By consciously trying to swing slower, you're actually giving the whole kinematic chain, hips, torso, arms, club time to unfold correctly in the right order.
Better sequencing.
Exactly, which creates a more efficient, more powerful delivery than just lunging at it with your hands. The guide emphasizes that a smooth, deliberate tempo isn't about less power. It's about optimized power through proper sequencing.
Okay.
It makes sure your body and club stay connected, maximizing club head speed right at impact, not way before it.
Right. Timing the speed. Okay. For the overall swing motion, it encourages unity with one move, smooth, and for hand action, it advises rotate, release hands, but crucially, with soft hands for a relaxed, fluid swing.
Soft hands, yeah.
And it really hammers the point to avoid being handsy. Let the body lead the motion. This sounds like the recipe for effortless power, doesn't it?
It absolutely is the secret, I think. One move, smooth, fights that tendency we have to break the swing down into jerky pieces. It's about feeling the whole thing as one fluid arc, led by the body's rotation. And the soft hands instruction, critical. Tension in the hands, the forearms, it's a massive power killer. Just strangles club head speed.
Right.
Soft hands let the wrists hinge and unhinge naturally. Facilitates that powerful rotate release of the club without you consciously trying to manipulate it. When you let the body lead, you're using those big muscles we talked about.
Back to the core and glutes.
Exactly. Letting the arms and hands be almost passive receivers, just efficiently transferring the energy your core generates. It's honestly a game changer for finding that smooth, effortless power.
That makes so much sense, but even with perfect mechanics, beautiful rhythm, it can all fall apart without the right mindset, can it?
Oh, definitely. The mental game.
So let's explore the mental keywords. These are like your internal toolkit. The guide offers simple but strong mantras. Think, focus, relax. It stresses staying positive golf thoughts.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True. And it brilliantly simplifies things. Keep it simple, less is more. It pushes for controlled aggression swing with commitment, not chaos.
Nice phrase.
And something I think we all need. Process over result. Focus on finishing the motion, not just hitting the ball. And of course, the final reminder, often forgotten. Have fun.
Crucial.
So, how do these seemingly simple mental cues actually shape physical performance? How they make the difference between a good round and a frustrating one.
Well, what's fascinating here is how directly these mental cues do shape your physical output. It's not just wishful thinking, it's about creating the mental environment that lets your body perform optimally.
The mind and body connection again.
Exactly. The mind is just as much a part of the swing. Think, focus, relax. Those are active strategies. They manage arousal, concentration. Less is more is a powerful cognitive trick to stop paralysis by analysis.
Which kills so many golfers.
Totally. When you simplify your thoughts, you let your trained motor patterns, your muscle memory take over. You stop interfering with conscious, often conflicting commands
Right.
and focusing on process over result. That frees you from worrying about the outcome, which is a huge source of tension and poor execution. It lets you commit full into the swing you've practiced, trusting the result will take care of itself. These key words, they're the key to unlocking consistent performance, especially when the pressure cooker is on.
Okay, so we've got the technical, the biomechanical,
Yeah.
the rhythm, the mental. We've broken it all down. Now, how do we make this work for you, the listener? The checklist culminates in specific swing keys. This is where it gets really personal.
Right, tailoring it.
These are unique thoughts, mantras that you develop for your swing. The guide gives examples like smooth and balance, tempo plus finish, turn and extend. But how does a golfer figure out their specific keys from all this information?
Yeah, this is where the swing diary idea really comes alive. It becomes truly personal. It lets you distill all this knowledge down into actionable insights just for you.
Okay.
And the power of personal relevance, well, you can't overstate it. You find these keys through self-assessment, through experimenting.
Trial and error on the range.
Exactly.
Yeah.
After looking at the whole checklist, you think, okay, what are my current weaknesses? What feel do I tend to lose under pressure? If you rush, maybe tempo plus finish becomes your key mantra.
Right.
If you struggle with connection, maybe it's turn and extend. There's simple triggers that, for you, represent a whole bunch of complex elements combined into one single actionable thought.
And that's crucial for that 1.5-second recall goal.
Precisely. It makes the huge amount of potential swing thoughts manageable and actually effective when you're standing over the ball.
Absolutely. Making it stick for you.
Okay.
So how do you actually use this checklist effectively? On the course, off the course, the guide lays out a clear strategy which seems just as important as the checklist itself.
The how-to is key.
First, and it says this is critical, pick 1-2 key thoughts. It really stresses, do not overload your mind. Focus on balance plus tempo or something similar per session or round. Why is this radical simplicity so vital?
Well, this touches on that important question. How does this whole structured approach actually amplify long-term improvement? The do not overload instruction. That's just solid cognitive science.
Okay.
Our working memory, what we can actively think about, it's limited. By forcing yourself to pick just 1 or 2 key thoughts, you prevent that mental clutter. You allow for deep, focused practice on that feeling or that move.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. Quality of thought, not quantity. It massively increases the chance that those cues will actually work when your mind is racing under pressure.
Makes sense. Then, for pre-round preparation, it advises mentally review your selected key points before starting. During in-play focus, it suggests repeating a short mantra, like smooth and balance. Keep your thoughts concise and calm.
Reinforces the key thoughts.
Yeah, ties right back to that 1.5-second goal. And the learning continues after the round, post-round reflection. Analyze what worked, what didn't. Update your personal swing diary accordingly.
The feedback loop.
Right. And finally, it emphasizes long-term development. This isn't static. It's a living training tool tailored to your evolving swing and goals. You keep refining it with personal keywords and observations. This isn't just about fixing one flaw, is it? It's about evolving your whole game.
Precisely. That structured approach, pre-round, in-play, post-round, it amplifies long-term improvement because it creates this continuous learning loop.
Right.
The review primes you, the mantra helps you execute, the reflection ensures every single round, good or bad, becomes a learning opportunity. You're not just hitting balls, you're actively thinking about your game, your process. Metacognition, basically.
Thinking about your thinking.
Yeah. And this continuous refinement, the living training tool idea, it means your growth isn't just accidental, it's intentional. It adapts as your swing changes, as you face new challenges. It really shifts the focus from just reacting to bad shots to actively trying to master your game with purpose and self-awareness.
So what does this all mean for your game then? The golfer's zen, a swing checklist.
Mm.
It feels like much more than just another training aid.
It's a philosophy almost.
Yeah, a holistic philosophy for getting better. It really empowers you, the golfer, to select what matters, to simplify it, and hopefully to swing more freely because of it.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive, I hope, has offered a path to understanding how you can integrate those classic fundamentals, the powerful biomechanics, that crucial rhythm and tempo, and the mental clarity you need for a swing that's truly effective and, fingers crossed, repeatable.
Distilling the complex into something usable. Yeah.
Exactly. Boiling it down into cues you can actually deploy when it counts. Now, here's a final thought to chew on. This framework, breaking down a complex skill like the golf swing into manageable personal cues, focusing on the process, not just the result, embracing that continuous refinement.
Yeah.
How could you apply that to mastering any skill, not just golf? What other areas of your life might benefit from picking just 1 to 2 key thoughts and having a kind of living training tool for getting better over time?
That's a great question. Applies way beyond the fairway.
Something to think about. We encourage you to reflect on your own approach, not just to golf, but to learning and improvement in general. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.